Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chalman here. We're going to be talking about Unit 6, Lesson 15, Practice Problems. Okay, we're going to be doing number 1, number 3, number 4, and number 8. Okay, let's go ahead and head back to page 133. That's where you're going to find these problems. See down here in your purple book. And we'll start on number 1. Okay, it's asking us to select all the quadratic expressions in vertex form. Okay, now remember, this is probably the easiest one to identify right off the bat. Okay? This is in vertex form. The coordinates of your vertex are right here and right here. It has parentheses, there's an x, there's another term inside there, and that's squared, and then this constant term out here, that's another part of your vertex. Okay, so this one right here is definitely in vertex form. The other ones that look similar to this are this one down here at the bottom, and it looks like this one right here is also in vertex form. Now this looks very different than these two because it doesn't have these parentheses right here. But remember, I could actually rewrite this just like this. X plus 0 to the second power minus 4, right? This is the same thing as this. So your x coordinate of your vertex in this one is just going to be 0. So this is actually in vertex form already. You just didn't have to write the 0. Okay? These other two are not, right? These are both kind of in factor form. All right, so there's the answers for the first one. Let's go ahead and jump on to number 3. Okay, taking a look at number 3, it says, which equation is represented by the graph? All right, here's the graph over here. What do we know about this graph? This parabola is opening downwards, and the vertex is right here at the point -3, -1. All right, so this is the easy constant term, right? Constant, which means there's no variable attached to it in our equation. So if we go down here and we look at this, there's only one equation that has this in it, right there, the -1. Okay, so this is going to be, the only thing we need to check now is to make sure that this number is my x coordinate, and it should be inside the parentheses, and instead of -3, it should be +3. Okay, so if we look down here, this is the only one with a +3 inside the parentheses. Also, one more thing I want to bring your attention to is right here. See this negative sign right here? That means the parabola is opening downwards, right? So instead of opening upwards, it's opening downwards. It's a hill instead of like a U, all right? Okay. So C is the one we're looking for here. All right. This one right here is great practice. Oh, one thing. Oops, I screwed up. Number 1. We forgot this one is also in vertex form. Sorry. The quadratic expressions in vertex form, because I could easily put a +0 right here, and then it would look just like these two, right? Top and bottom. Forgot about that one. So A, B, D, and E. Even teachers make mistakes, right? I'm not a computer. I'm still human. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. For each equation, write the coordinates of the vertex of the graph that represents the equation. Okay, the vertex is going to be this number right here and this number right here. We call this H and K. So our vertex is always going to be -H, K. And what this means, when I put this negative sign right here, it just means that whatever this is, whether it's +3 or -3, whether it's plus or minus, we're just going to switch this sign when we put it into the vertex, okay? So the coordinates for this vertex are going to be 3, 5. Notice how we keep this one the same, but this one we change the sign, okay? So same over here, change the sign of this +7 to -7, and then +3. Okay, this one right here, oh, this is just like that one I missed on the very first question, right? Where it said where I forgot that there's like a +0 right here. Okay. Now this isn't in your book. I just wrote this in. So this means the coordinates of this one are going to be the opposite of the sign. So +4, +4, and 0. Just because there's nothing here doesn't mean there's no y coordinate, right? It just means we could add a +0, and that's what the y coordinate of your vertex is going to be. Okay, this one right here, also confusing, right? Because there's no parentheses right here. This just means that this number, if there was a number inside that parentheses, it would be 0, right? So this one is 0, -1. Now, I know that I said -h, right? But -0, that doesn't really mean anything, right? 0 is neither negative or positive. So you can't really change the sign of a 0, right? Okay, looking at these ones, let's see what we got here. Okay, so this one, even though there's a 2 right here, that doesn't impact the vertex, right? That has no relationship to this, okay? So this is still going to be the same vertex. So let's go ahead and make that. I'm just going to change this sign, -1, -5. And this one is exactly the same. Don't pay any attention to that. That's for later, okay? The vertex is always going to be these two terms, right? So -1, -5. All right. One more question now. We have to go to number 8. And here it is. Okay, so we're looking at these 4 graphs on number 8. This is the last question. Graph A, B, C, and D, and we're going to match those up with these equations down here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, instead of looking at these graphs, right, I'm going to look at just these equations. I'm going to say, where's the vertex of these equations? Well, I can find the vertex of this one and this one, but these two, I can't figure out what the vertexes are. So let's just find the vertex of these two and see if that doesn't help us. Okay, so the vertex for this one is going to be at 0, 3 and 0, -3. Okay, looking around, we need to find these vertexes, right? So the vertex for this one is right here, right here, right here, and right here. Oh, this one's up at +3. This one's down at -3. So the +3 one, that would be C. And the -3 one, that was at D. So those two go together. Okay, so since we can't tell what the vertexes are of these two, what we can do is figure out what their x-intercepts are. Okay, so their x-intercepts. Remember, these are in factored form. So all I'm going to do is take these two and switch their signs. So this one is at -1, 0, and -3, 0. Those are the x-intercepts for this one. For number 4, this one's in factored form. The same thing. The x-intercepts are right here and right here. So +1, 0, and +3, 0. Remember, we're switching the signs, just like we did with the h value of the vertex. But these are in factored form, so these are my x-intercepts, or where my graph crosses these points, okay, or crosses the x-axis. So it has to be one of these two. This one right here crosses at the point 1, 0, and 3, 0. And that would be this one. Okay, so A and 4. And this graph B crosses at -3, 0, and +1, 0. Okay, -3, 0, +1, 0. So B is number 2. All right. If you have any more questions, please feel free to email me or your teachers. Other than that, you guys keep going. We're almost done. Just a couple days left. You guys are doing great, though. Keep learning this stuff. All right, Mr. Tallman, I'll see you later.